expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclarke.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It is Friday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you for joining us. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson as ever side by side, ready to look ahead to what we hope will be an entertaining Premiership in Scotland. Yes, it's going to be an interesting week in the Scottish Premiership. Of course, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. As I mentioned on Wednesday, we're certainly getting down to the nitty-gritty in the head-to-head. Ruffy, for about 3 years, I was so far out in front, it was unbelievable. And then you had a purple patch where you managed to get a victory in the head-to-head for the predictor. But suddenly, this one's getting really interesting. The loser takes everyone out for a slap-up meal. Have you still got time to suddenly peg us all back? Or the other question, the more important one, is how have I managed to squander 37 points and allow Ferguson to go 5 ahead? You've come up like red rum on the rails.
Well, the thing is, never give in, and that's what I've done. I was confident. I'm not confident. I was never going to finish last. I was going to make sure that I wasn't going to finish and pay for the slap-up meal with a nice red wine. But I thought at one stage you were too far away, 37 points. But listen, I've done okay the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so you've done okay. You've had a couple of absolute howitzers. Listen, the real trophies that will be handed out are coming up over the next few weeks, and Neil Lennon has mentioned, thrown down the gauntlet really to the team. If they want to pop the corks on the champagne, then they have to do the business on the field. Doesn't matter, as he mentioned, how you get it done, just get it done. There seems to be so much of a hoo-ha over, talking about celebrations. Some players may well have forgotten, what it takes to get over that line, Ruffy.
Yeah, again, it's Neil's, expectation and the levels that he wants his players to play at. I mean, I watched the highlights of the Hibs games last week, and any other given day, Celtic could have won that 2 or 3-0. The Hibs goalkeeper had some fantastic saves, so that just shows you, the level of performance he wants every week. He wants to win every week, which is always a good thing. And then the players will have to respond to that, because there's a massive cup final coming up, and they'll all want to be in that.
Yeah, and there are the other thing to bear in mind, there are players who will be going out the door. These last few games are the shop window for them.
Yeah, and it's up to them when they come into the team to go and show that they're worthy a decent move. But he wasn't a happy man after that game against Hibs. I didn't think there was much in it. I did think Celtic edged it. But listen, if you want to go for championships and get them tied up early, you've got to be clinical, and Celtic weren't clinical. Yeah,
and let's not forget, Kilmarnock have defeated Celtic in the league this season, Ruffy, and Celtic at home, you would expect them to be the favourites in this one, but Steve Clarke will have other ideas. He's got players more than capable. They certainly don't have a fear factor with Celtic.
No, he certainly doesn't. No, they'll go there knowing that they have given Celtic problems. But I think in the light of everything that's happened this week, that the Celtic fans and the players will be really up for this one. Obviously, Kilmarnock are going to be minus some players after last week's sending off. So I think Celtic, after the sort of a row they got off of Neil Lennon, will want to prove their manager that they are the top team.
Yeah, and will there be a bit of emotion, Barry, with obviously so many fans wanting to pay tribute to Billy McNeill?
Yeah, as well. I mean, obviously the guy was an absolute icon at Celtic Park, and obviously they'll be singing his name throughout, and I think that'll gee up the Celtic players, and I think they'll get the victory.
Yeah, I mean, that in itself is something that sometimes, Ruffy, can add to it and edge it. They only need 4 more points.
Yeah, they do, and I've always said it along, having never won a championship league table, you know, and Barry has. I always had the feeling, if you're going to win it, you want to win it in front of your home fans. You want to win it in front of a full stadium, to the supporters who have been there all year. Yeah, you'll take it away from home, but if you can get it at home, you know, I would go for that one.
Yeah, okay, that's at the top end of the table. Elsewhere on the Saturday fixtures, Hamilton, Livingston, are the Accies safe yet in this table? You look at it, they're 10th. There's 2 points between them and St Mirren, and then 18 points at the bottom of the table is Dundee.
I think Accies are going to get out it. I do. I think they'll pick up a few points from now until the end of the season. And I've said it, Dundee and St Mirren into the playoffs for me. I think Accies will just, again, they get a good point against Motherwell. They weren't great, they were pretty poor actually, but it shows they've got a bit of fight and a bit of dig to scrape a point, and I think they'll scrape another few from now until the end of the season. Yeah,
Livingston can look upon it when you look at the overall record between the two of them this season, Ruffy. Livingston, they've come up with a couple of wins, a draw, and there's only been 1 win for Accies.
Yeah, but I think it's noticeable at this stage of the season, the teams who really want something and the teams who really need something have got that wee bit of edge. I think we saw it last week with Livingston. Although they got a player sent off, I think Hamilton have got something to prove, and I think they'll be good enough to possibly get a point at home.
Okay, if you're looking at the bottom end of the table, you need wins, you need something that will certainly surprise people. St Mirren have surprised them, Barry. They got a 3-1 win against Livingston, and suddenly they're looking at the game against St Johnstone and thinking, we desperately need a win, but we're at home.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, 4 to 6 weeks ago I thought they were going to be the ones that were going to finish bottom. All credit to the players and the management staff there. They've done pretty well. But I think they'll pick up a point. I don't think they'll win the game against St Johnstone. But they've done well to get into the playoff position.
Yeah, I share your view on that. I thought maybe a point at best because they haven't beaten St Johnstone this season, Ruffy.
No, it's a difficult one to judge. I mean, obviously the St Mirren one was good last week, but obviously Livingston went down to 10 men very early in that game. So although they won it and they won it convincingly in the end, it's a hard one to get your head round, you know, what they're going to do with St Johnstone, because St Johnstone used to be very, very good away from home, but I just think winning means everything, and the win that they got last week, they'll turn that into another win this weekend, a very narrow one.
Yeah, okay then. The final fixture on the Saturday is Motherwell against Dundee. Now, Dundee, I think everybody now has decided they're gone. Do you share that view, Barry?
Yeah, I didn't when they brought Jim McIntyre in. I seen signs of them getting better, but they've played some decent stuff at times, but listen, it's all about putting the ball in the back of the net, and they've struggled to do that, Peter, so I don't see them getting anything against Motherwell.
8 straight defeats. I thought they had players there that were more than capable, and I can remember asking Jim at Firhill that night, he was watching you guys play in the Cup against Hearts, and he said, we've got players, we just can't get the results, can't get the goal in front and then add another one.
Yeah, it was the same last week, and it's been the same for all the other weeks before that. You know, they've had chances in games before they go behind, but they can't get that confidence lifter, and they end up losing a goal and then another one. I think the fixture list has been cruel to them. I don't think that they wanted that Motherwell game. I think that they probably preferred maybe Hamilton or St Mirren, rather than playing them at the end of the split, you know, when it might be just too late. If they were to get one of these two now and win 3 points, it would make a difference. But I just think Motherwell will beat them at home, and that'll be it.
Yeah, what kind of reception do you think Jake Hastie will get, Barry? Everybody knows now that he's decided to join a pre-contract with Rangers.
Yeah, well, I've seen the Motherwell manager's interview saying that it'll be doubtful if he's going to play now. So I don't think he'll be on the pitch to get a reception. Listen, the young boys made a decision. I think it's the right one. I personally don't. I would rather that he done what his teammate done, Turnbull, stay there, get good experience, get a lot of games under your belt. But listen, the boys made a decision. For me, he's a good player, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I like to see young boys stay and get 50, 60, 70, 80 games under their belt. But listen, he's made a decision. Rangers have got a good player. and we'll see how he goes next year.
Be interesting to see what Alan Burrows gets out of Rangers on this one. This will be an interesting trial case for a young player, coming
I've seen
through.
the reason why they don't sign them up is they don't get as much money for them.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea what he's coming up with, Burrows.
Okay, Motherwell fans will have their own view on that. Don't forget, you can share us with your own thoughts on your favourite team and some of the events that are happening in Scottish football. After the break, we will be talking about Hibs against Hearts and, of course, the small matter of Rangers against Aberdeen. But what about the quiz? What about the competition winner? Yeah, congratulations to our winner of the quiz. More quiz questions next week on the programme. I must admit, Ruffy, as it gets ever closer, I always love the Edinburgh Derby. I love to go to it, spend a wee weekend in Edinburgh. This one I'm sadly going to be missing out on because I think I might still be running by the time it kicks off. I'll be running in the London Marathon for Macmillan Cancer Support, which I'm looking forward to. But I certainly will be keeping my eye closely when the race is over on what happens at Easter Road.
Yeah, and obviously when the marathon finishes, you maybe pick up a game on the Monday or the Tuesday. But no, full credit to you. We're discussing that none of us two could ever achieve running a marathon.
Cheers, Ruffy.
To be fair, he started out going to the marathon. I remember it last year, and then he gets the Kelty job. So I've taken your place, Barry.
Fair play to you. Listen, it's a tough gig. I started training for it. I know how difficult the amount of hours and miles you've got to put in. So, huge respect to you for taking my position. Okay, so Hibs Hearts, great game to look forward to. Suddenly, we have a situation. Is there credibility? Listening to Paul Heckingbottom after their 0-0 with Celtic, there's no fear for him now. He's got the Hibs support on board, and even Leanne Dempster has said she's surprised by him. He's exceeded their expectations.
I don't know whether I think he had a good track record down in England, very well respected. He's come up here, and I think what Hibs thought they were going to get, they've got. I think the players have bought into everything he's done. He's done remarkably well since he came up. As I said, I thought Celtic should have won the game last week, but they put up a good, credible display. I think they've got Hearts at the right time. I said, unfortunately, I don't think Hearts are playing as well as what they were early on. Okay, they've got a cup final coming up. Again, they've got players who we want to impress Craig Levein. But I think this will be a narrow one, but I think Hibs will just edge it by the odd goal. Yeah, it's 1-1 apiece and a draw. And if I'm perfectly honest with you on this one, Barry, since Naismith came out of that side, they have been hard to watch. I'm not going to pull any punches on it. If you're talking about, if this game turns into pure football, Hibs will win it. Yep, I'm totally with you. I think Hearts without Stevie Naismith are not a good team. They struggle without him, as simple as that. Not just what he does with the football on the pitch, he's also a leader. He drives the team on. But I think Hibs, since the new manager's come in, I think if Hibs play like they did against Celtic, I think Hibs will win it. Yeah, pretty easily. I mean, the bragging rights are important in the city. I mean, if you don't live in the east of the country, you don't realise in that city it's important. I think the Natural Order banner was picking up on Craig Levein's comments in an aftermatch after one of the derbies, but they like to be on top of their great rivals. Hibs are there in the box seat right now, and Hearts have a chance to draw level with them if they can get the win away from home. It's no different to Rangers Celtic. It's just a different city. We all know what happens when you get two teams who come from that kind of environment. You've got Leith here, you've got Gorgie up here, and you've got Princes Street in the middle, and you're going to meet your pals and your rivals at some stage after these games, and that's the way it is, you know. And you want to be on the winning side. You want to be going to your work in the beginning of the week and have the bragging rights, and it just doesn't change. That's the way it is at a derby.
If I'm going to be honest about it, I'm going to plump for Hibs in this one. Where are you going?
I think Hibs will win it convincingly.
I'm going to go Hibs 4-0.
Yeah. What?
I see it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going for nothing. Complaints to Alan Rough solely. Don't include us in it. Okay, the last one, and last but by no means least, is Rangers against Aberdeen. Of course, everybody's talking about the fact that Celtic need 4 more points to win the league. This is on the basis that Rangers have no more slip-ups. I mean, they've just got to keep winning and just make sure that Celtic do it on their own. So this one is an interesting one because there might be a wee bit of revenge in the air.
Yep, and do you know what? Looking at the game, I have no fear for Rangers against Aberdeen on Sunday. I really don't. Since the defeat at Celtic Park, I think Rangers have went to a different level. Really impressed with them. Certainly the first half against Hearts, I thought they overran them. A lot of people saying Hearts were disappointing, but that was down to Rangers for me. How well they played, how well they pressed, some of the goals they scored. So I think Rangers will steamroller Aberdeen. Honestly believe that.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from because it's 3 games, it's 3 wins, Ruffy. It's 9 goals with only 1 conceded. I was at the game at Tynecastle. Rangers played some good stuff, moved the ball about well. Obviously, when they got the little break, I thought Hearts actually shot themselves in the foot twice, but Rangers still had to capitalise on it. And even without Morelos, Jermaine Defoe was able to step up to the plate.
Yeah, but as Barry said, you know, if you're going to press the game, they pressed it well, and they pressed Hearts into the 2 mistakes. So you got to give them credit for that. After they went on top, as the old firms usually do, they show a bit of class. They show, you know, that they are really good teams with players in it. I think Steven Gerrard will be kicking himself that he never put Defoe and Davis in a lot earlier than what he did as regulars. Okay, there might have been fitness levels or whatever, but certainly they've made a difference, these 2 players.
Well, that's a good point you make, Ruffy, because, you know, having sat in front of him in the after-match press conference, I just wonder, he knows a good midfielder. I wondered why even a half-fit Stephen Davis for me would have made a difference.
I think what crossed his mind was they never played a lot of football before he signed them on loan. But again, 2 of them are, for me, certainly I can speak for Devo because I played with him. I know how good he is. You're only going to get match fit with playing games. So I think if he'd stuck Devo in, gave him 3 or 4 games, he would have had better form earlier on. Now that he's got the 3 or 4 games under his belt, now you're starting to see, but it's too late now. I think he's a quality player. He makes the midfield tick, and obviously Defoe up front, you just give him a sniffy goal and the guy pops it in the back of the net.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, I wonder what your thoughts are. You're a former Rangers midfielder, Scotland captain as well. Steven Gerrard mentioned last week in the victory over Hearts that he cannot believe that Ryan Jack is not a Scotland player.
Yep.
And a regular in the side because he's clearly impressing him week in, week out.
Well, he is impressing me more and more. I see him. I do think he should win the Scotland squad.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
What would you like to see added to his game? You know better than anybody.
Well,
what is he missing?
He's added goals.
Yeah.
He's added that of late. He can get the ball, he can make them tick, he can pass it, he can tackle. The hardest thing for a midfielder is putting it in the back of the net, and he's starting to do that.
Yeah, okay. As far as Aberdeen are concerned, Ruffy, it's like any club. Some of those players won't be there in the summer. Derek is well aware of the fact that he's got, a club trying to finance the stadium plans, the new stadium at Kingsford. And more often than not, he's been able to rebuild and tweak things and come up with big results this season when many were questioning whether he'd be able to do it. He has come to Glasgow and won.
Yeah, that is the only thing I would buy into Derek taking the Scotland job. I think as a manager, he'll be sitting there going, rebuild this season, losing my best players. That might be the thing that he might be just getting a wee bit miffed with. That might, unless the owner reassures him it's going to stop. You've got that group of young players coming through. Just think of the next 2 or 3 years with the stadium and everything on these. That would be the reason I would say that he would take the Scotland job. Because
you and I have been up there at Stuart Milne, and it's like a father and son relationship the 2 of them have.
But that Derek McInnes situation, that tells me how good a manager is. It's not about they've got beaten in semi-finals and they're maybe no finishing second in the league or they've no won a cup. he has to rebuild that squad every single summer. Now that's, for me, a top manager. He's losing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players every single summer. He's got to go out and his recruitment's got to be spot on. And 9 times out of 10 it is spot on. And he's always got Aberdeen at the top end of the league and into at least the semi-final. So that's why I'm saying he is a good candidate for the Scotland job, because I do think it will come a stage when Derek thinks, if I took Aberdeen as far as I can, because he's got to do the same thing every single summer.
Yeah, absolutely. More often than not, they say, yes, I'm interested, no, I'm not, and then something can tweak their mind. We shall see. So, Rangers against Aberdeen. Ruffy, how do you see this one going? Because Barry's clearly mentioned there he thinks Rangers will steamroller Aberdeen. What's your take on it?
I think they'll win the game. I think confidence is high, and I think they will want to turn around the results that they've had with Aberdeen this season. So I'm going to go for Rangers to win.
Okay, Rangers to win that one. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us on the programme. Thank you very much to everyone who's supported my bid for the London Marathon. Thanks to Barry for contributing. Obviously, if you could maybe break into your Partick Thistle signing on fee, I may get a couple of shekels from you as well, Ruffy.
Yeah, it's the only reason I haven't done it is because of the technical side of it. But I'm sure I can rectify that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are enjoying yourself on Sunday, believe me, I will not be. I'll be breathing heavily and running slowly. Hopefully you'll join us on Monday. Fingers crossed I'll be here as well for Peter and Ruffy's football show. Thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Barry Ferguson, and from myself, Peter Martin. Thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclarke.com.